Hello everybody, welcome back to the workshop. So in this video, I'm going to be making a little different type of Acanthus Leaf. Now you guys have already seen a video of me taking and forging this. It was one without any instruction, just pure forging. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'll put a link to it up here in one of the cards and also down in the description, and you can watch that if you don't prefer the voiceover format. So this was me just monkeying around in the blacksmith shop late at night after concluding a day of forging, and I've decided that I wanted to take and make a little different type of Acanthus Leaf form using just some random bits of bar stock. In fact, on this bar stock here, I actually forged a human head during the same night out of the same piece, just to challenge kind of my skills and abilities and to keep my practice going. So the main form of taking and forging Acanthus leaves, you want to make sure that you segregate your material properly, and that's what we're going to use here. Now this is a solid forged Acanthus leaf. There are types of Acanthus leaves out there that you just cut out of a piece of plate or sheet metal, which is perfectly fine and in fact is a lot quicker than this method. But when you learn how to properly divide your material, you can really come up with a lot of variations of expression if you know how to divide the material and how to forge it properly. So I'm putting this piece up on the diagonal or on the corners of this square. Basically, I left it square. And then I'm going to start forging out on the diagonal that material, and that will help spread out this Acanthus leaf better. If I would have done this in the flats, it wouldn't have given me as good of a spread on the Acanthus leaf itself than as if, I turned the bar up on a 90-degree angle or up onto the corners or the diagonal, if you will. So that really helps give you a lot of extra width very quickly, and it's the proper way of dividing up the material. Now this form of Acanthus leaf is really great for a lot of small projects. Small work could be gates, grills, what have you, but usually it's done in a little bit more finessier bits. If you're going to be doing like railings or a lot of gates or things like that, I would opt for using the sheet metal method and possibly doing a French style repose. Do something along those lines, like a stake repose on a flat sheet of material, and we might get into that in future videos. Who knows where time and life will take me as I have time to show you guys that process. So again, we're just kind of hammering along here. It's going pretty well. And all I'm doing here is just taking and establishing more of my center ridge, so this way the structure's there. A lot of forging is about the understructures that you've provided yourself for later on down the process. Like for instance, I left the tip of the leaf really thick because I knew that I was going to be drawing this out into a little tendril on the end of it. This is a very common thing to see in Acanthus leaf work. So again, I left myself enough understructure to count and to matter, if you will. If I didn't leave myself enough material to begin with, that would have created a problem. Ultimately, when I come along to doing this process, it would get too thin and or it would be very weak at the juncture that I am forging it right near the end of the leaf and end up snapping off. So always be thinking about adding in a little bit of structure, what each heat you're doing and why. That's a very important thing, and whether it be in decorative work or just regular general forging work, blacksmith work, or kniff work, whatever you find yourself getting into. So now I'm just rolling that up. Then I will come back in, and on each one of the lobes of the leaf, now we're going to go ahead and hammer in a little bit of detail with a little bit of butcher work. I elected to use the guillotine tool just because it would be quicker and I could do it all at the anvil. Again, I was trying to challenge myself quite a bit to do as much as I could of this process at the anvil itself, and then figure out the tooling that I need to make this whole thing better. Just getting all that straightened up. And as you can see, it's come out pretty well so far. I really like the way that that little scroll or that little tendril on the end came out. And after I knocked in with the guillotine all those little areas, that turned out pretty good. So this is the extra little bit that you're seeing here. This is chasing in a line and creating some segmentation, if I should say, or segregation between the vein, or what would be the center vein of the leaf, and the leaf edges themselves. And you'll see later on I'll use a curved butcher tool to take and butcher in the lobes of the leaf as well to give it some more shape and dimension. If you're doing something like in a flat piece that's just all sheet metal work, a lot of this is going to be veined and grooved. So a lot of this will be grooved by having a swedge or a bottom swedge and then a top tool like a fuller to press the material into that swedge to give you the shapes that you're looking at. But since we started thick, we can take and chase in this detail by just chiseling in one side, and that gives us plenty of form. So this is just using a hand butcher tool held in a pair of tooling tongs. I have a video on the channel of making tooling tongs if you want to check that out. It'll be linked up in the description down below. And then this here, really there's no right and wrong way. You are just trying to take and do it to the best of your abilities and what you want to take and accomplish aesthetically. That's the big key here. There really is no rights and wrongs per se with this, except for you want your piece to be very flowing. That's about the only real hard fast rule that there is in blacksmithing or in forge work that's in the decorative sense. But as far as rules go, you can, sky's the limit. You know, you can make this Acanthus Leaf your own, and in fact it'll look the best if it is made all to yourself and you've made it your own. That means you've shaped the leaves how you want them to be shaped, you've added the form and the understructure, and you've applied it to a project or a process that works best for you. You can always take inspiration from other smiths, and you can always take inspiration from books and videos you watch, but ultimately you have to start defining what it is that it means to you to be a craftsperson or a craftsman or woman, and finding basically yourself in your own personal smithing style. It's taken me over a decade to decide which route I am planning on going with my career in blacksmithing, and that is with the French Baroque style ironwork, and so this will be a very fun journey for the next few decades of my life. Anyways, that's it for today. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to hit that like button, and as always, God bless you, and we'll catch you on the next one.